I started cutting the leather jacket into pieces, and it's going to be interesting to see what's inside the other ones, but this is the brown one, and this is the lining, and this is what's between the lining and the outer that's made of leather. So this is some sort of padding, and as you can see, it looks quite nasty. I have no idea how old this jacket is, but I'll need to cut all that stuff out. And I think when I take these linings out of the jackets, I'll just need to wash them all and see what's usable after that, because these are probably really old, and I don't want to think what's in that lining fabric, all the sweat and what have you. So washing the lining pieces is definitely something I need to do as soon as I have processed all of these jackets, but there are 7 of these, so that's going to take some time. As I have now removed the lining, here you can see what the brown jacket looks like on the inside, and there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to start taking off. I'm just going to cut the pieces like as big as I can, but like this here, I think this is rubber band, and I'm not going to take it off, just cutting here and cutting here and then throwing all this out. And also the pockets, just cutting as much as close to these pocket pieces as possible, and saving if there's no zipper here, but if there's a zipper, saving that, but not worrying about wasting some material, because there's so much leather in these coats and jackets that it doesn't matter if I'm wasting a bit of it, because I'll need to consider the time I'm using for this project. I'm now finished with the brown jacket, and this is the amount of leather I got out of it. There was a lot of things I had to cut out because the wrong side of the leather, this side, it just looked nasty because of that stuffing padding that was in between the lining and the leather. So these are all the clean pieces of leather I got out of it, and the biggest ones are from the sleeves and the upper back, and otherwise they are sort of, let's see, approximately this size, and because of that rubber band, a lot of them are like this in the upper or lower edge, so that's not a good thing, but I hope I can figure out some way to straighten them. Well, and anyway, they will probably get a bit straighter once you sew 2 edges together, but I'll try to figure out some way something I can do to straighten those edges a bit. I mean, there must be some way if nothing else, just putting them under a lot of weight, sort of press them flat, that could maybe work. I don't know. I'll have to see if that's possible, and if not, that just means that there's even less usable leather from this coat. But fortunately, I think this was the only one of this design, and the other ones should provide much more usable leather. This is the grey jacket, and unfortunately there are some stitchings like there on the shoulders. There's that padding material stitched to the leather, and also here in the lower back, so that's going to limit a bit the amount of usable leather I'm going to get from this one. And then there's the lining. It's this sort of stuff, and this is basically unusable, so I'm just going to remove this zipper. I think there's just one pocket inside. Oh, there's two pockets on both sides, so two zippers, and then this, otherwise this lining is going to be thrown away. And it's going to be interesting to see how much usable leather there is in this jacket, but there should be enough, at least when combined with either that brown or black. I think black is probably suitable for combining with this. So this is what I got out of the grey jacket. There's 4 larger pieces, bunch of sort of mid-sized pieces, and then on the right really small pieces. But I'm going to save everything because, well, even the smallest pieces can be useful in case I get back to making doll shoes again. Those can be made from very tiny pieces of leather, so I'm going to save all of these, but there was quite a bit I had to just throw away, but hopefully the rest of the jackets are better. This was, I think this design is for motorcyclists, because there was all these paddings in the elbows and shoulders, and that's not really a regular leather jacket, I think. But let's see what the other jackets are like. This is the next one, waiting to be cut up, and this is different because I checked and I can feel that there's only the lining and the leather. There's nothing in between. And also there's this strange thing. There are buttons here on top, but there are also buttons underneath. So I don't really understand this. Are you supposed to close it with these buttons or these, or is it sort of like you can choose whichever you want? Anyway, this, as you can see, this is going to make a lot bigger pieces. There are less seams, and this is made of larger pieces, so this should give me a lot more usable leather than the first two. Now this is what the coat looks like with the lining removed. Like you can see, it looks nice, good condition. So the leather I'm gonna get from this is definitely usable. It's gonna make something nice. I have a plan, and I think this might be a good one for that plan. because it requires a bigger pieces than what I got from the first two. But let's see what I can cut out of this. These are the pieces I got from that jacket. There's 9 large pieces and 2 of these mid-sized pieces, and then a bunch of smaller ones. And then here you can see there's a staple there. I have marked these large pieces. There's one staple in near the edge in some corner that I know I won't be using, just to mark that these pieces come from the same coat. So for the next one I'm going to probably use 2 staples, then 3, and then probably put 2 staples across each other, and just marking all of these big pieces. So when I'm making something that requires several big pieces, I can take pieces that come from the same coat or jacket so they'll fit together better. It's not necessary, but I'm doing this just in case. It might turn out useful at some point when I forget which ones came from which coat or jacket. This next jacket has a really nice lining. I want to use this for something, but there is a minor problem. Like here there's stitching and I can feel that there's something thick in there, so I'm assuming whatever that is, it's stitched to this lining, and in practice that means that here at these intervals there's stitching, and that means removing a whole lot of stitching before that lining is usable for something else. I mean, I'm assuming whatever there is in between the lining and the outer, it's something I want to remove. Of course, if that's not the case, if it can be left together with the lining, it would make things a lot easier. But unfortunately, I think I'll end up removing a lot of stitches to make this lining usable. But I really like this pattern and I want to use this probably as a lining for something I'm making out of these leather pieces. So probably I'll be watching YouTube videos while removing all those stitches, but well, we'll see. This is what's on the other side of the lining, so that means, well, I could cut this out there right beside the stitching, but that would mean the right side of the lining fabric would show the stitching, so I guess I'll be removing the stitches after I have cut out all the seams and edges, cut them clean. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of stitches in this back piece and 2 in the front piece, all the way from top to bottom. So that's going to be quite a lot of work. These are the pieces I got from that jacket. A couple of really small pieces and several large ones, and then some medium-sized ones. And well, these will be good for, I've been planning of making a vest, and this would go for that. But here's the the lining, and what I did with that, I cut off the padding. It's just there in the places where there are stitchings, and I did that because I'm going to wash this first, so I don't want to wash all that padding stuff. This little what's there in the stitchings, this won't be a problem, but washing this with all the padding in place probably would be a problem. So wash it first, and then at some point remove those stitches, because it will look better. And anyway, I tried picking the rest of that padding from the places where the stitches are, and it's hard work. It's less work removing the stitches, and then the rest of that padding it'll come off automatically when the stitches are removed. One thing I did for all of these cotton pieces is finishing the edges before washing, so the edges won't unravel while these are in the washing machine, and that means more usable fabric, because if you let the edges unravel, you'll need to cut off some of the edges, so finishing them leaves you more fabric you can use. Okay, 3 more jackets to go, and this is the next one, and here I can feel that there is something between the leather and the lining, so it's much like the most of the earlier ones. But then there's this string at the waist, and there are these stoppers. There's 2 of these, one here and one on the other side, and I'm definitely going to save these because they are useful. And then I was thinking, there's this big pocket, actually there's 2 on both sides, and a zipper pocket here and one on the other side, and I was thinking that maybe I'll cut out those pieces so that I'll just keep those pockets. I could use these pieces with the pockets intact, so I could get pockets into a new garment without having to make them. These pockets are, well, they are in good enough condition for that. And was there anything else about this? No, I don't really think so. So next I'll be showing you what it looks like with the lining removed. Okay, I haven't removed the lining entirely, but I just had to show this. This is disgusting. I mean, this jacket has to be really old, and the lining it has holes in several places, and then there are these. I found these inside the lining, and this looks like it's from a pen, but I have no idea what this is. Some sort of spring, and then there's this metal strip, and I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is that these don't belong inside a lining of a jacket. I had to take this jacket to the bathroom so I could just get rid of all the trash that was inside the lining, and look what fell out of there. More stuff. One spring. I think that looks like it may be from a pen, and this looks like a cork from some, like a tube of glue or something like that. Toothbrush and a some pills. No idea what these are, but there are also some small pieces of packaging for medications. So I suppose these came from those packages, but they were too small to figure out what these pills are. Doesn't matter. Going to the trash, the whole lot. So these are the pieces I got from this jacket. It's 5 longer pieces, 4 from the sleeves and 1 from the upper back. Then 3 pieces with pockets. One of the pockets was so badly torn that it's not usable. And then a few square pieces, smaller pieces, and then a bunch of narrow strips. And that's all for this jacket, and there's 2 more to go, but it's 8 p.m. and I'm going to stop for today. Probably just edit this video and upload it, and the rest of the jackets I'm going to deal with them later.